Welcome back to Cooking with Texas Chevy. Today we will be making a creamy mac and cheese with sausage. I'll be using 6 different cheeses for this. We'll be using 3/4 of a pound of American, 3/4 of a pound of cheddar. I usually use mozzarella, but the deli messed up and gave me Swiss, so we're going to use that. It came out really good, it's just not as creamy as mozzarella, and that will also be 3/4 of a pound. Half a pound of Havarti, 3/4 of a block of Philadelphia cream cheese, and 1/4 of a pound of Gruyere. For the noodles, I'll be using the small elbows. You could use any noodles you like, but I just prefer those. In the water, I'll be putting 3/4 of a tablespoon of salt and 2 tablespoons of butter. You can make yours without sausage, but I prefer it with sausage, and I'll be using Eckrich cheddar smoked skinless. Now I'll prep everything for the noodles to boil, but I will not start the boiling the noodles. I'll turn the oven to 325 and I'll cut the sausage in halves and cut the halves in halves down the middle. Before we boil the water or throw the sausage in the oven, we're going to grate all of the cheese besides the Philly, of course. Now with all the cheese shredded, we'll start boiling the water and we'll put the sausage in the oven. It should take about 20 to 25 minutes to finish the sausage. The cheese will start with 1 cup of milk. We will be using about 2 cups of milk through the entire process. For this process, you don't want to rush it. We want to bring the milk up to a simmer and we'll add 1 handful of cheese. And once we get it where it's not stringy, we'll add another handful. And if it starts getting thick, we're going to add about 1/2 cup of milk at a time. And then we'll continue stirring it until the cheese is melted and no longer stringy. Once I got about half the cheese melted already, I'll grab the 3/4 of a block of Philly and add that into the cheese. So once you have 3/4 of the cheese melted and it's not stringy, it's nice and smooth, and we're going to save that last quarter for later on, I'll be adding the noodles in. So the noodles should have been done about 3 minutes ago, and I'll be adding those and the sausage to the cheese and giving it a taste to see if I need to add any more salt or pepper at this point. The reason I like to add the noodles and everything right now is to see if it's too thick. If it's thick, I'll add about 1/4 cup of milk just to thin it out a little bit, because we'll be adding the remainder of the cheese to the top and inside this. So at this point, we can start preheating the oven to 350. So for the top of the macaroni and cheese, before I put it in the oven, I like to put croutons on. You could do your own bread, but I like croutons because they have the flavor already there, and I just love the flavor of them. And I'll be making about 1/2 bag and smashing it. I like using a large casserole dish because I'll be putting a handful of cheese in here and stirring it around in the mac and cheese that's already here. And I don't like it going everywhere. So with that small handful, I'll just stir it around and just get it in there nice and mixed up. And the remainder of it, I'll be placing on top. With the cheese spread out evenly over the top, I'll be adding the crushed croutons all over the top also. I'll have it in the oven for about 10 minutes, and you'll notice it start bubbling around the sides when that's ready. And then I'll put it on broil for about 2 minutes just to get that nice little brownness on the top. Thank you for watching my video. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel.